car dance.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.
Welcome, everybody, to the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. I am your host, Gavin. And, of course, today we are joined by everybody's favourite piece of shit, Boyd. Boyd, how are you, my friend?
Hello, mate. I'm going very well. I'm excited to be back in this.
It's been a minute.
And it's we've had a lot of shit on, right? We've had fucking birthdays. Yeah. You've been
Easters
traveling all over the Easters, traveling. Yeah, a lot of poop to deal with. But hey,
and we've copped a bit of shit about it too, haven't we? It's you guys have dropped off and blah blah blah. We've just been on everyone else's pods. We've still been here.
Exactly. And now we get to ease everyone back into the Aussie flavour in an intimate setting with Gavin and Big Balls Boyd.
And we are going to do it intimate styles. We might even turn the lights down at some stage and just, chill and rap about what was an amazing season of Phoenix Suns.
I love this season so much. This is one of my favorite seasons ever.
It was amazing. Hello, King Nacho. Thanks for joining us, my friend. We'll talk about one of your favorites very shortly. Do you want to, while you're talking about the theme of how much you love this season, do you want to give me in 25 words or less your description of the Phoenix Suns season?
It was fool's gold. Fool's gold in its truest form. It was a big old. They sucked us in to start with, and that was the fool's gold. And then they fucked us in the end, in the rear end, right at the end. The worst.
And they didn't even do it well. They didn't even do it well.
They didn't
leave us satisfied. They didn't leave us satisfied.
Like on The Hangover, that I come, he come. There was no, we just got fucked. And we just got fucked. Yeah.
That's a very good description.
There was no I come, he come. It was just gone. But but we kept getting sucked in, didn't we? All throughout the season.
Yeah, we did. Even in the last week, I think the last week you and I had a chat before we got ruled out, and we went, you know what, we're a real chance to win these last few games. And Dallas are shit. We might sneak into the play-in yet.
Dallas did everything they fucking could within power, within everything logically that they could do. They fucking did it, and we just fucking pissed it up the wall in true Suns fashion.
And then the Kings tried to join in on that and tried to fuck it all up as well. Nobody wanted to be in the play-in. And yet the only team that didn't want to be in the play-in that should have, just to protect themselves because they have no fucking draft picks, was the Phoenix Suns, who didn't make it.
We got all these fucking losers, right? All these losers that are sort of cultivating around the play-in section, and the fucking Mavs said, "Oh, Kings, come over here, join in this fucking orgy. It's a good route, these Phoenix Suns." And they're just nailing us. They're fucking running trains on us. All these fucking losers. Yeah,
that's a very apt description. I don't think I can do that better in 25 words or less. My 25 words or less was fucking garbage, and that's it. That's all I was going to throw up for the season. It was fucking garbage. It was heartbreaking. It was. I don't know how many times that team just left us flat as a fucking tack all year. I have never, even when we were fucking putrid in 2018-19, I'd never felt as flat as I did watching a Phoenix Suns team than I did this year. So it was great to see the Matt Ishbia press conference where that was sort of the flavour of it. That's the feeling I got, Boyd, was all year they sort of just sugar-coated everything. Ishbia came into the press conference and went, nah, that was fucked.
I love Ishbia, man. I don't get Stephen A. Smith. I don't get the little contingents on Suns Twitter and just our fans being so fucking anti-Ishbia. Now, for the most part, I think that we're with Ishbia, especially after the Sava fucking experiment that went for years and years and years. But there's still too many Ishbia haters for my liking. There's no fucking everything that he has done has been fucking awesome.
The thing with Ishbia for me, the thing with Ishbia for me is, okay, the KD trade didn't work out how we all expected it to work out. Fact is, how the fuck would we have known, anyone have known, that the KD trade wouldn't have worked out as spectacularly poor as it has, right? When the KD trade happened, everybody in Sunsland was fucking pumped that we ended up with KD. There was maybe 1% of Suns fandom that went, nah, we traded out too much. We traded out too much of our youth and blah, 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 blah. But 99% of Suns fandom went, that's fucking awesome.
This is what we needed.
The Beal one had elements to it that there was probably 30% to 40% of Suns fandom that went, whoa, hold on, the no trade clause, that's an issue. But 60% of us still went, 60% of us still went, this is going to be one of the best scoring outfits that has ever played in the NBA.
That's what it was on paper, right? It was an astute move on paper, and let's be real. Front offices, all they can do is look at what the best thing looks like on paper, because fucking the chemistry and the fucking buy-in and the effort, all that sort of shit is there's a basket over here, it's called controllable, and there's another basket and it's uncontrollable. All that shit is uncontrollable. So they did the best job that they could. And I think that's really the point too, Boyd, is people are getting stuck into Ishbia, and the Stephen A. Smith, don't worry, he's getting a mention later in this podcast. Yes. Oh, good. We'll double up there.
Yeah, the guys come in. He has done everything to realign Suns fandom in Arizona, from the Ring of Honor, putting the banners back up, to putting in Sean Marion, to making fucking food cheaper, to making huge trades that will make us a championship contender in his mind and in a lot of our minds when they first happened. He's not been afraid to spend the money. He's doing everything that we wanted out of an owner, but because it hasn't played out exactly how we wanted it to play out, all of a sudden he's a shit owner. Fuck off.
Yeah.
The dude's come in, and he's come into this press conference again, and he said, make no mistake about it, we will win championships, because his mindset is he will do what it takes to win a title in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Now, it hasn't played out the way we wanted it to play out with the way it is right now. But he's identified it, he's owned it, and he's gone, right, we're going to change course, and this is what we're going to do now. So I say kudos to Matt Ishbia. Like, I'm excited to see what he does next, because the guy's not going to take a backward step on trying to deliver a championship to Phoenix.
You know what he also, everyone out there is saying, oh fuck, he didn't do anything about it. He didn't do anything to fix it throughout the season. And they're the same people who are cracking the shits because they think that he overstepped the mark and got involved in making transactions and shit like that that got us into a mess, a perceived mess. It's not a mess. Yeah. It was what this was is it's a performance vehicle that it needs to be finally, and I've used this terminology before, it needs to be primarily tuned. It's got a massively high ceiling and a really low floor. The floor, and we just sat on the fucking floor because we couldn't find anyone to tune the fucking thing.
Well, the big thing is too, with the trade deadline shit and the lack of moves, and I get all that. I get all that stuff. But what everyone keeps forgetting in that sort of setup is the other team has to say yes too. We have to have it there, right? And there's a lot that needs to be done to fix this team as it stands. I think they've taken the first step in one of the major things that needed to be changed in order to fix this team, and that was move the fucking coach on. So
yeah,
there's things here that we know. The great thing is we know Ishbia will do shit in order to flip this on its head and get the Phoenix Suns to where they need to be, and that is in that championship window. Now, and we see that need defense and championship level players who want to win. Bill does not fit under either category. I think when Bill came in, he absolutely was a championship level player. It's just turned sour during that, and maybe he's not he's not the player he once was, but mentally, with the amount of crap and the amount of bashing that guy copped, of course his mind went elsewhere. And he wasn't going to contribute at the level he needed to contribute at. That's the way I see it.
Even when Bill wasn't playing, this team was fucking hot garbage.
Yeah, garbage.
Yeah. So I mean, you talk so lowly about a player and you expect him to turn all that around. Like fucking what are we even talking about? I mean, if Bill was in a system, and I'm not saying that Bill would have been our fucking savior and won us everything, but there was a lot of shit at a ground level that just was not happening from day dot that Bill doesn't have in his resume to fix. What ultimately that ceiling of ours was him coming in as a third fiddle to prop up scoring and stagger the rotation a bit, to keep the scoring going, and while the others gave us, got us the leads basically, but you need defense. You need to be able to stop the other team from scoring 120, 130 points on any given night. And
I don't like the feedback that Coach Bud went to him and went, "We need you to become more like Drew Holiday," and he went, "Fuck you, I don't want to do that." That's poor. If Beal's done that, that's poor. Your job is to fit the role that the coach needs in your team, right? Now, I get that. And the Beal thing hasn't worked. I get it. I agree with you, King Nacho. I know you've been beating this drum for a long time. I get it. But fact of the matter is, neither is the KD thing. That hasn't worked either.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. It could in another multiverse. It could have. Here's it like
absolutely.
Drew, fair enough. Like it's fair enough for Bud to come in and say, "Hey, we need you to fit this mold." Like, get your fucking. And this is one of the few times that I'll talk down on Bradley Beal. Get your head out of your ass, mate. Hey, he's not asking a fucking MVP player and a championship winner to go out there and play defense. He's asking a guy in a struggling system right now who's playing for his next contract. Really, he's playing not to get bought out. To fucking help the team with the way that the coach thinks it needs to be helped. And I don't think he reacted well. If that's exactly how he reacted, I mean, was it a real, like, I want to know who was there that saw it fucking all play out. Did this come from Beal? Or was this
it came from Chris Haynes, yeah. But I think in that sense, I think there's smoke, there's fire, because there was the mentality thing, right? And Bill's mentality wasn't where it needed to be. So I get that. All right, let's move on, man, because we can come up with a bazillion things about what went wrong this year. Let's go into a couple of categories here, and let's just run through some potential player awards for the season. All right. Who was your? Let's start low and work our way up. So we'll start with the negative. Who on this squad was your disappointment of the year?
I have to stick with my thing I've been saying all season, and it's the entirety of the big three. our big three, KD, Booker, and Beal. They were the disappointment. All the other stuff are all intangible, hanging offy bits. But these are the guys that need to not only lead by example, but you've got LeBron dragging, over the years, and I fucking hate bringing up LeBron, but you got LeBron that drags mediocre teams to relevance every single year because he's a player that can get through to other players, in particular mediocre players, and get them to play a role. We didn't feel like we got any of that. We saw like in that latest four game win streak when we had a burst of energy and defense and communication and leadership and all that sort of shit with our young guys coming in. We saw what we could have been seeing all season, I suppose. But yeah, you need to be able to get that out of your veteran role players as well. And I think the big three lacked. They had their good nights from night to night, but there wasn't enough of we're down 15 in the third quarter, and I just felt like at the end of that game, we were still seeing KD on a very efficient, 11 from 17, or 11 from 15 even. They just didn't overstep their mark. They kept it comfortable, and they didn't lead by example in that sense. But they also didn't instill much into other veteran role players as well, it seems.
For me, my disappointment of the year, Nate, is the Brad Beal of the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. My disappointment of the year was Mike Budenholzer. I thought that any chance for this team to make adjustments and changes were stifled by the coach all year. I wasn't a fan of his appointment in the first place, and I think that basically we just got an angrier Frank Vogel, and that's how it played out. It was pretty. He did nothing as the ultimate leader of this squad to provide resource for this team to adjust and compete at the level that it needed to happen. So for me, the disappointment of the year was Mike Budenholzer.
I bought in the Buds. I bought in big time, not knowing much about him, not just pretty much knowing that I think Giannis had a bit of an issue with his lack of adjustments in one of their playoff failures. But I was a deer in headlights, so to speak, with.
I know. I remember.
He's got a championship. Maybe he can get us a championship. Same shit happened with Vogel. He had a championship. It was like a recent one. But then it was also the issue of our dated mid-range mafia, I suppose, and the Budenholzer teams of the past being highly efficient 3-point teams, basically. So that was one thing that I thought that was a massive detractor from our previous seasons. So I thought that just that alone was going to be able to fix a lot of our problems. So I did buy into him. But at the end of the day, we were a highly efficient
you can be a highly efficient team on the offense. If you cannot fucking stop a single basket at the other end, you're in trouble. That's what our team turned into. All right, who was
the ways that we can lose?
Who was out of? We had two two-way guys and two guys on the roster. So realistically, it's out of the two guys on the roster. Which one of Oso and Ryan Dunn was your rookie of the year?
Oh, Dunn. Ryan Dunn, for sure. For sure. Both give the same sort of energy and
in the chat, make sure you throw your answers in there too.
But yeah, now
so
I think Dunn,
it's Marbo again. You've got that two in a row, pods now.
I know. Yeah, but honestly, these guys, they're defensive. They're just consistently energetic and did the extra 1%ers that the other guys just just didn't want to do. It felt like so done for me. 100.
For me, it was Oso. I think Oso's got. I think that he showed a lot more scope for the. I think he showed a lot more scope for the longer term as a mobile defender, tall defender, mobile centre that could actually fit the roster if we saw a KD and Book extension moving forward. Ryan, my problem with Ryan is his inefficiency with his shot. He basically was a younger version of Josh Okogie with a little bit more length. And he needs to be far more efficient shooting from outside. If he puts in a big preseason and improves that 3-point shot, sure. I know that Oso's not going to be able to spread the floor, but what he can do is defend 1 through 5. He didn't look lost out on the perimeter if he got switched onto guards. He was a shot changer. He was a shot changer. Yes, I did want to start Metu, and Chemezi was great. So fuck off. He was a shot changer. He was strong and solid defensively. When I look at over the next few years, I honestly think that Oso, me personally, I just think Oso's got a little bit of. I think the ceiling is higher for Oso than it is for Dunn.
Oh, really?
I think Dunn's output this year was more effective, but I think over the long term, I think Oso's ceiling's higher.
Really, that's interesting because I see Oso as more of a an integral piece, but just someone that you play an offense through, but not really impacting a game like Ryan Dunn can. I think he, even towards the end of the season, I think Dunn really got in his bag a bit and showed us some things that he'd been working on, like even from the.
We were at the Spurs game, right? And I think he had 26 in that Spurs game. It was his best offensive game of the year, and he still shot poorly.
Yeah.
He scored a lot more on the penetration and on the. I get that, but we had this issue with Josh Okogie, right, for years, and he wasn't a rookie at the end. He's just
no.
He has to be able to hit that.
We knew what Okogie
he has to hit that 3. Yeah, but he has to be able to hit that wide open shot. Otherwise, he becomes that liability on offense because teams will leave him wide open like they did Okogie. So it's just personal opinions, and I apologize to everybody who's offended by my opinion. Who was your defensive player of the year?
Defensive player of the year. I'll give it to KD. He's sort of switched off from time to time. But in spurts, he was by far our best defender. In spurts, that is.
Was he though?
And I really, 100% he was. The amount of like any big, and he played a lot of 4 and a fair bit of 5 this season. But with our overall defense, the amount of help defense that if you're defending inside. It's tough. It would have been tough there. And there were games there where he had 4 blocks in the first half, and it was he really stood up in patches. I just didn't like the consistency of it in the sense that there was so many times when his porous his frustrations after a call would mean that it was just a definite bucket on the other end in transition, which was one of our big sore points for the season. But look, Ryan Dunn, I don't think I can. He still got lost a little bit on defense. He's by far the most athletic and best on the perimeter that we had this season. But yeah, I think KD.
So my fundamental issue with KD, and you spoke about him playing the 4 and the 5 defensively and blah 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 blah. My fundamental issue with that was when he was playing the 5, he'd actually hide on somebody in transition on the perimeter and leave our small guys like Tyus and Grayson and Royce to pick up the center because he didn't want to play that role. And it exposed us over and over again. So that's my argument against KD. This is my answer. We did not have a defense on this team.
Well, what a trick little question. You back me. I'd love to have that answer as well if I thought it was an option.
I'm going back. The only guy who played any sort of resemblance of defense in every minute he was on the court was Cody Martin. A guy that can come in and play 14 games and lead the team in charges taken, with 14 games averaging 12 minutes a game. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. No defensive player of the year. Who was your offensive player of the year, Boyd?
Oh. Oh, you got Book and KD both averaging around about 27 or 26 this season, as they usually do, very comfortably. You got to give it to KD as well.
Yeah, it's KD for mine. He still manages to get that ISO and those ridiculous shots. I thought Book was a little bit reserved on offense this year and more focused on distributing the ball rather than taking over big chunks of games like we're used to.
Definitely.
So for me, it was certainly KD's still one of the greatest shot makers of all time, and he was this year. So. Yep. Book still hit some of those amazing shots he does, but there were times that he was trying to pump up his assists so that he could have 8 or 9 or 10 in a game rather than just taking the shots he normally would. Yeah,
it looks so good. It looks so good to just not have a big scoring column if you've got a couple of numbers in other columns as well. And that's a big problem with what this team was about. It was about looking good this season, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, individually, not the team side of things. All right. So the Phoenix Suns give this out every year. I don't think it's been given out yet, but let's give it a go. Marley Hustle Award winner. Who's going to win that this year?
Well, I don't think they're giving it out. Aren't they just discussed it in? It's usually given out in the last regular season game, isn't it?
I thought it was too. Are they just not giving it out this year?
Well, it's past. It's
Void is in the chat. He'll be able to tell us.
Yeah, Voider. Let's just sit here and awkwardly wait for Voider to fucking pony up and answer a question for us. Yeah, no. King Nacho. I want to give it to Colin as well. I want to give it to Colin. I want to give it to fucking Colin. Hustle wise, for what?
This is kind of what you said at the start of the show, Boyd.
The Suns collectively get a hustle award because they hustled the shit out of us. Yeah, they're fucking. That's very true.
It's kind of what you said at the start of the show. Look, yeah.
Here's why I want to give it to Colin.
Yeah, go.
Here's why I want to give it to Colin. And over someone that hustled their ass off, like both our rookies did, whenever they got a shot in the few shots that they got. Colin came in from a two-way, and the amount of energy and hustle that he injected into this squad immediately, and even in the short stints at the start of the season, it was just, and I've said it previously, I don't think I've seen a bad minute from the guy, a bad moment. He's had a couple of bad plays, but you stretch out over a minute of play, I don't think I've seen a bad one from him this whole season. And a lot of the good that he brought was just shit that got me off my seat. I was when he was knocking down threes, when he came in late in that game, and it was sort of the start of his insurgence into the second, that last part of the season when he got plenty of burn. He came in and he brought us back, and we won a game in the fourth quarter purely on the arse end of him knocking down some threes. But also, he's not a big guy. He's not he's not imposing himself on other people, but he's fucking always there. He's our little fucking Javon Carter type. Even he's our fucking PJ Tucker type. He's an arsehole. He's right fucking there.
I was gonna ask you.
No, I'm Colin Gillespie.
I'm
fucking on.
I was gonna ask you a question there, but we'll save that for when we do our little review there. Steve, is Tumati Kamara still eligible? No, we traded him last year. I've got a Hustle Award winner this year, the Phoenix Suns, because this year was dedicated to Al McCoy, and clearly our team gave everything they could to honour his memory. The Hustle Award should go to any of those commentators on radio or TV that had to sit through that fucking shit and have to try and make it sound positive.
Bloomers?
EJ, K-Ray, Bloomers.
K-Ray,
like those guys had to rock up for 82 games and try and make that shit sound positive. And they did a fairly good job of trying to make it sound positive. But if I have to listen to EJ say one more time, if they could just get it back under 10, they might be a chance here. I think I'll fucking vomit. But also, give those guys Hustle Award winner.
Special mention to cunts like fucking PHNX and Sunstream. That cunt there in the chat talking shit. These guys, after every single game, PHNX, they're a paid system, and they get on before the game as well. But these cunts just fucking getting in there and just fucking every single. I couldn't do it.
So let's wrap this up. Let's make it bigger. Let's make it bigger, and because I know there's an internal Twitter war with people who fucking just sit around and like to make pot shots about how Suns media is fucking not good enough. So let's say Suns media as a whole, anyone who put Suns content together this year, they deserve the Hustle Award. They deserve the Hustle Award. Having to sit here and do a fucking show about this disgusting fucking putrid garbage that the Suns dished up all year, they deserve the Hustle Award. Hey, Phoenix Suns, I know you guys are always watching, Matt. I know you're here watching. You get a trophy for everybody who's done content around the Phoenix Suns this year, and give them a fucking Marley Hustle Award winning trophy, because we fucking deserve it. All right, last one in these awards categories. Boyd, you're frozen a little bit on the screen and you look stoned right now, but let's give it a go anyway. Who was your player of the year?
Oh, this is one where I want to take a leaf out of the book and not give it to any cunt. No, I don't want to give. No one's deserved of a player of the year. Yeah, I mean, do I want to fucking give it to KD or Book? No, I don't. It's one of them, I suppose, but no. I am going
to award it to one of KD or Book, and it's only due to one reason, I think, now that changed my mind.
Well, it's got to be Book then.
It's Book.
Yeah,
and it's because of what he did in that last home game of the season, where we were fucked up. Book was sore. He easily could have sat out, but he went, you know what? He pretty much said, we put the fans through shit this year. That's why I showed up and played today. So you got to give the credit to Book there for that Spurs game, where he just went, you know what? I'm going to show up. I'm going to play. I'm going to do my business, because the fans have fucking put up with shit this year, and they deserve to at least see us play on Fan Appreciation Day.
Yeah, I like that. But in saying that, when we were just thinking that they were just going through the year with no internal issues, because the Suns have done a great job of hiding as an organisation. It's not like the old Ryan McDonough days, the old fucking where everything was sort of out 5 minutes after it happened. We've done really well of hiding the good and the bad, shit that's going on internally, and in retrospect, when you see now Bud's being fired, you see, and Booker was definitely, if you look at his body of work and what he was talking about post-game and that, he was definitely dropping hints. And from seeing that, you can see that he was trying, I suppose, to some extent. But let's give it the Book.
Let's roll with that. So player of the year from the Aussie Suns fans is Devin Booker. Congratulations, Book. We love you here at the Aussie Suns fans. Please stay. Boyd, we've wrapped all that
Yes.
up. That's our
Yes.
awards for the year. No one should get awards except for us who have to fucking sit here and make Suns content.
We have to bullshit
What's-
these awards through.
What has happened since the end of the season is we fired another coach. Now we're paying fucking $28 million a year for coaches that aren't coaching us. What I want to know, though, Boyd, is who's next? What is it that you want to see in the next coach of the Fenny? And let's sit here, take a step back and go, right, we're keeping KD and Book. We're keeping the squad similar to what we've got now. Moving forward, what sort of coach do you want to coach that team?
I begrudgingly say it's got to be a players coach. So it's got to be that younger type mold of a coach, which I don't fucking like. I don't like it, but I think it's got to, because I've seen the other side of the fence not work for too long. When I feel like
why don't you like it though? Given the environment of
I'm a little
the
bit
environment
old
of
school
I get that you're old school, but given the environment of NBA basketball now, these millionaires with multi-millionaires with fucking horrible attitudes and egos, why do you not like a coach who can massage that, create those relationships, and keep the mindset where it needs to be?
Well, that's exactly the reason why I don't like pandering to that, because I don't like that part of the game, Gav. Me personally.
But it's a reality, right?
It's a reality, and that's why I'm saying that I begrudgingly want a guy like that. But
all right, so who is it?
I don't want the game to be like that, I suppose.
But who is okay? So who is it? Is it Willie Green?
Well, I don't think it is, because I think that he stays in New Orleans, but someone definitely like him. I
do want to touch. I want to touch on this. Ernesto's jumped in here. Appreciate you jumping on board, Ernesto. Coach Monty did build a culture, but he also had really poor player relationships with specific players. That's what ended the Monty era in Phoenix. He created relationships with the stars, not with the players below that. So keep going about Willie Green.
I think it was just, someone like Willie Green. And again, this could be, this is a very narrow view, because we don't really know what each coaching dynamic was like up close and personal. But you look at Willie Green's time here, and it was in our golden age, right? And he always had a lot of respect from the playing group, top to bottom, from everything that I've read. And it was sad to see him go. And I think that, like a bit of a homecoming thing with, with your franchise cornerstone player, knowing that he has his ear. I think that's a no-brainer if he is available, of course. But outside of him, you hear the Steve Nash and the Jared Dudley type things. I think I'm scared of what Nash did at Brooklyn with KD. I'm scared of me thinking differently about Steve Nash post his career after him coming in and possibly failing at this. So there's sort of like, I sort of want to preserve the whole Steve Nash thing. Jared Dudley, he's such a fucking, he's a bit of a flop. He's a bit of a, he's just a fucking bit of a goof. And I get it. He was the sort of role guy, that veteran, that fucking really good locker room guy and all that sort of stuff. And he's been coaching over with the Mavericks for a bit now, but I just think he's too far that way. Like, I mean, if that's what we need, I'd take it for that, but I think it falls over somewhere else. I think it falls over in the X's and O's. You guys are all friends out there. Why can't you fucking make plays? Why can't you fucking do? Well, you haven't told us what to do. You haven't told us how to do it. Yeah, we're fucking best mates. We're going to have beers and fucking, we're going to go over to Earl Watson's for some ice cream after the game. That's all fucking great. That's all well and good. But we just don't know how to fucking do it. So I think that there's some limitations with a Jared Dudley type. And I think I said it when I was on with Voida a couple of pods ago, that Will Hardy, if he's ever made available, with all the shit that's going on, I'm pretty sure that's over at over in Utah. I think he's still there. With all the shit going on over there and them turning things on its head, I think that someone like him would be nice because he's got the right age element and he's got, from what I've seen, he's with the X's and O's, he's good as well. So someone like that. But then, guys that I hadn't even thought about, that Chris Quinn from Miami. Everyone seems to be talking about him now. The first time I heard about him was on from Voider and Suns Geek. So, that's a good culture to come from. So yeah, look, I'm not.
I'm a bit in the Chris Quinn camp myself. I'm not sold on the Willie Green thing. He does have solid relationships with some of the people in our organization. But if we remember, let's just have a think about when Willie Green was here. How many players on our roster right now were there when Willie Green was there? One. It's one player. Like, okay, how much of a relationship has he got with everybody else? I don't mind the Chris Quinn thing. Again, I would have preferred us really go after JJ Redick last year. I thought he was ideal for it. I just don't know. Look, Jared Dudley is an intriguing one to me. I think Jared Dudley could fit the type of thing that we're looking for. He is pretty solid on the X's and O's, but he's great with that relationship piece. And the fact is that we've had, and people are saying we need someone gritty and we need someone. That's all great, but we had guys that came in there and tried to get our guys to do that, and it ended really, really poorly.
It did, and it shouldn't have.
And it shouldn't have. But it is sad. It is absolutely sad. But I'll be interested to see how we go. But you know what? Right now, we've brought those guys in. I'd rather see someone younger that can create those player relationships and rebuild that culture that we want to see. Yes. Quick question. Go.
Vogel or Budenholzer?
I told you before, they're the fucking same person. One coaches offense, one coaches defense. I'll choose the defense guy who had us 13th in the league for defense.
Okay, same.
Not the guy that had us 28th for defense, and clearly everybody hated.
I hate and don't understand play random, Gavin. So yeah,
No. Okay. All right. Let's do a quick wrap up on the entire roster now, and it's who stays, who goes, and just a short reasoning as to why. Boyd, short.
Okay.
Let's go back to the 25 words or less, not the fucking 1.5 hour description of each. We'll start with Devin Booker. Let's start at the top. Devin Booker. Does he stay? Does he go? He stays. Why?
Does he stay or does he go? He stays because he's the cornerstone of the franchise. That's why. All the things that come along with that, we all know that. We all know why Devin Booker stays. We all love him.
Yeah, I don't think Book goes anywhere either. The talk is that he's probably got the most. Well, he's probably got the most value. I think we all know that Devin Booker has the most value on our roster right now for from a trade perspective. But even though Luka got traded from the Mavs, I think you'd see Phoenix burn to the ground if they traded Booker when he's sitting there saying he wants to go. Just as an interesting aside to that, do you think he gets his extension as well? Now?
I think it's off. I think that they've been talking to him about it ever since the last one was signed. Like, hey, we can do this again in a couple of years. You know that we can keep on doing this. Like, so I think that from the Suns' point of view, I think that they're definitely, if he's willing. I think that's the key thing. That's what they have to watch. Is if he's willing. If he's not willing, I'm not going to fucking go to panic stations and say that, oh fuck, he's gone by any means. There could be a whole host of reasons why he wants to wait a little bit, but if he wants to and he has any inclination to sign on that dotted line, it happens.
So you're saying stays and signs the extension?
Yes. What is it? 175 million a year.
Yeah, something
$149.
like that. Becomes the highest paid player in the NBA.
Yeah, in them subsequent years in the future after his current contract ends. Yeah. Yes.
Kevin Durant. Does he stay? Does he go? And why?
I have a funny feeling that Kevin Durant stays. Contrary to what a lot of other people are saying about him going. And I think it's prime time to trade him as well. But if it all plays out the way that I feel that Ishbia wants it to play out, and that's not in the way I know Gambo is going on about, there's going to be some sort of an agreement in a buyout with Bradley Beal, but I think that there's something that happens on the Bradley Beal front, and I think that is the precursor to an extension with KD and Book. Book first, KD second after a Bradley Beal deal, and then we are back in with a slightly different mindset for the following season, with a lot of different personnel, with all that stuff we lacked.
I think, and this is where this sucks, because I hate agreeing with you. If Bill gets traded and not bought, I don't know the exact mechanisms of the buyout and whatever else.
Mechanisms.
If Bill gets traded, KD stays. That's my feeling at the moment. And depending on who we bring in to coach, I think that they'll have a discussion with KD and Book about who comes in to coach, and I think KD probably ends up staying. I think the best value we were going to get out of KD was that mid-year trade at the deadline, when with the talk about Butler and et cetera, et cetera. So for mine, if Bill gets traded, KD stays. If Bill gets bought out, I think we may trade KD.
Yeah, I agree. I agree exactly with that. So there's two scenarios where Beal isn't on the team next year. One of them's with KD, one of them is without. But yeah, I think you're right. It's a little bit fucking sad, and I've said this before as well. Like, we're going to get to a point, if we retool really, really well this season, and there's no Beal and there's no Durant, in another season's time, we're going to be saying, what do we need? What's that extra thing we need? And it's going to be KD. we just had the fucking off. Yeah.
Fair. Bradley Beal.
I think he's gone.
Yeah, I don't see any version of the Suns moving forward where Bradley Beal's on this roster. He either gets traded or he gets bought out. And we take the pain.
Yeah. I agree.
He's mentally checked out of Phoenix. It's not going to happen. Grayson Allen.
I think he's gone.
Why?
I think he's gone. I think he's one of the flexibility pieces. I think I think he's gone, and I think there's, even in a retool, Gav, there's a certain amount of assets we need to keep retooling and keep making moves, and we're really bare in the old war chest. So I think that, well, he's one of the players with value out there that we can get something back, plus maybe a little extra to use in a future deal.
Yeah, I think that there is two players that will be shopped by the Suns, Grayson and Royce O'Neal, and one of those two will be traded. And the one with the most value, we have to keep. My opinion is we have to keep one of those two. And the one with the most value is Grayson, so he gets traded.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I think we move them both.
Yeah, I don't think
I
we
think we
move
move
Royce personally.
possibly. Well, I mean, possibly not. This is just me, and I'm just chasing something that they haven't got. They've got the shooting, okay. Grayson more so than Royce, but I'm chasing an entire retooled roster in the scenario where it's Book and KD running it back as a big two. I'm chasing everything with fucking big old fucking dangly long arms and energetic defense, and I'm playing a lot more offense through the big two in the way that we sort of pictured the big three working, just with a different support cast. So yeah, look, I think,
And that's fair.
We can get flexibility in salary, but also get some draft capital back from both of them guys. And I don't think it's going to be much draft capital wise if we're getting more of the dollar savings. But I think we need to move both of them to get ourselves in a position to make an. I think that there's going to be another significant move, not for a star by any means, but with all this
Joel
stuff we're
Embiid.
getting. That's a whole different multiverse, that one. But I think that there's going to be like not a star, but like a really good role player that's acquired with whatever we can muster up asset wise this offseason. Our big three will be a big 2.5.
Okay, so we've touched on Royce, so I'll move him up. I'll say that we've already spoken about that. You say both go. I say one of those two stay. And I think Grayson's the one that moves on because he's got more value in a trade. Nick Richards.
I think he stays. You guys shot me down last pod yesterday or the day before about how high I was on Nick Richards. But I think he stays. It's $5 million, and I don't think we're going to be able to get a guy with his upside and his age and what he brings to the table for $5 million elsewhere. Like, you think a minimum next season is going to be around about, it's going to be closer to $4 million for a veteran minimum big man signing. So really,
I think you oversold that. We shot you down because of how highly you rated him, not because the fact that we thought he'd stay. Because I agree with you. I think Nick stays because $5 million as a backup center is great. That's great value.
It is.
So
it is.
There's zero reason for us. The only way that Nick Richards leaves is if we need a filler in one of the trades that we do. A salary filler for $5 million. Facts are
near untouchable, but yeah.
No, but I'm taking him as a backup center in front of Plumlee every day of the week. But he's not a starter. Yeah.
Do you see a world where he backs up Osso next season?
No, I don't think Osso's ready for that yet.
Oh, he might be ready sometime next season. I think it could happen.
Maybe at some stage next season. Maybe. Depends on what we bring in, mate. Depends on whether we bring a center in. Fact of the matter is, if we bring a really solid starting center into this squad, then no, maybe he backs up Osso as the third center.
I think any
his contract. He's only got 1 year left, right?
Who is it?
Nick Richards.
Yeah. This is a team.
Yeah. So by the end of the season, I could see that he potentially is the third center.
Yeah. Okay.
Tyus Jones.
No. The only way Tyus was going to be on this team for multiple years is if he really killed it this season. And we're going to do similar to what we can do with Bol in the sense that he gets enough years under his belt with the team that we can use bird rights to sign him for more than what we are allowed to sign him for under the cap. So, yeah, and I don't think that there's been any indication throughout this season at all that he's willing to come back and do it again for a minimum. because
he is an absolute certainty to be off this team.
yes,
Absolute certainty. If he's not off this team, I was going to make a big statement, but I won't do it. If I just don't see Tyus signed a minimum to come in and be the starting point guard. About halfway through the season, everybody figured out that this guy's a backup point guard at best. He ain't coming back. He's going to go to a title contender somewhere else to play as the backup point guard. Wouldn't surprise me if he ended up at somewhere like the Lakers, which sucks ass. Plumlee.
no, I don't think he's back at all. At all. I think he was already a year past it this season. He was just fine, but I think if we're really doubling down on Osso and Nick as we think that we will, I don't think there's space there for Mason. Maybe as down as low as a 15th roster spot, waving a fucking towel around. I don't think so though. No.
Mike Budenholzer is no longer the coach. There's no chance this bloke's on the roster next year. Oso Ighodaro.
100% yes.
Yeah, that's a yes. We can move on quickly. Ryan Dunn.
Yes.
I'm not so sure. I think when we start talking about those trades on the market,
well, then also
where
in that basket as well. Also is in the same basket.
I don't think he is as much as Ryan Dunn. Ryan Dunn is going to be in higher demand in a trade discussion than Oso is.
Well, if our boy, probably not our boy, but my boy Keith Smith keeps on banging on about Oso, he'll get a lot of bloody mentions, I reckon. But anyway, yeah, no.
And this is the thing. This is
value-wise, Dunn has more. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I just think that there's going to be a situation in this offseason where everybody in Suns Twitter land loses their collective minds because it's going to be the Bridges thing all over again. Because when we tried to get this is why there's two of them that have said it. If a team comes to us to take on Bradley Beal, then they will likely say, well, you have to include a Ryan Dunn in that for us to take this. And that wouldn't surprise me to see Ryan Dunn move on to get off Beal.
Yeah, and I'd be sad at a fan's level, but if it means that we can do it without having to buy him out and just destroy our cap for a year or 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever it is that we stretch it out to, yeah, I'd pony up and give one of them guys back.
Bowl.
I think he's back, Gav, to your distaste. I think he's back. I think he's back, and there's no real. I don't see him playing a major role, but I think he's back. I think
he comes back if KD's on the roster. Bowl stays.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of potential with Bowl.
If KD gets traded, Bowl goes somewhere else if KD leaves.
That's fair too.
Damian Lee.
He's gone. I think his time's up now. I don't look. We at the start of this season we talked about him being when he was good from his injury. That meniscus took a record amount of time to repair, by the way, which I think I thought that he was going to play more of a role, if I'm being honest, but he really only got garbage time in the most despair of our season. He that's the only burn that he got, and it's just like, okay, he's just another number at the moment. So,
he is Timu. He's Timu, Grayson Allen, and Royce O'Neal.
Yeah,
like
Galanskis.
garbage on defense. Really, he early doors was shooting well for us, but fact of the matter
He had to
is,
maintain that, but he didn't.
He had no real value to the team. Cody Martin.
In either one or two ways, I think he's back, Gavin. And whether it's a decline his option and take less money, or picking up his option. I just feel like he is. If you could put a player into the words that fucking Ishbia spewed out in that press conference,
you stole that off me from the other day, didn't you,
Martin? Did you say that? Did you?
Yeah, on the Suns Planet Pod. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did say something, not in them exact words, but something to that effect. But I agree, 100%. So, but I even before that pod, Gav, and you'll know from our chats, I've got Martin coming back, and more players like him. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think. Look, he's the one player. Just given the value of his contract, and for this reason here, nice to have Martin, but victim of the second apron. I don't know.
Here's the thing:
is my answer.
In the worlds that we're talking about, we're under the second apron, Gav. We're talking about worlds if we're
under the second apron, Martin's back.
Yeah, and there's multiple worlds where that could happen. So that's why I'm saying back. Yeah. He's back.
Vasily Micic.
He's already gone, isn't he? He's already got his flight tickets.
The whole thing there is who gives a fuck. Monte Morris.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. And I don't know what we're missing out on. It's sad. Another sad thing. But Monte Morris is
so here we go. Monte Morris, I think, stays. I think that he steps up to the backup. I think he steps up to the backup point guard position when Tyus leaves.
Second.
No, second. And I'll explain why when we speak to the next person. I'll explain why.
Okay.
I think Monte Morris is our backup point guard next year because Tyus will leave. They will approach Monte and say, hey, we know that Bud didn't allow you to deliver on what you can do last year, but the new coach is going to give you those opportunities, and they will bring him in.
Well, I'd like that. I'm not against that. But does it come at the cost of giving Gillespie that shot? Or do you think Gillespie's still a third string?
Okay, let's move on to Colin Gillespie.
Ooh.
Do you think who is the next person? Do you think Colin Gillespie stays?
Yes, and I think he's our second fiddle. I think he's the guy you think Monty is.
I'll tell you why he's not.
Okay, then.
Because the Phoenix Suns should have released Vasily Micic and signed Colin Gillespie to a 2-year contract while they could have this season and locked him up. Now I think there is going to be teams out there that look at players like Ty Jerome and the output of Colin Gillespie, and they will go after a player like Colin Gillespie and offer him a more friendly contract and opportunity in their rotation, where the Suns can only really offer opportunity in the rotation, given our current cap restrictions. So I would love if Colin Gillespie signs. I think Colin Gillespie can only sign to a minimum if he stays with the Suns.
So we touched on this on Suns Planet Pod, and we've got him under contract as a two-way player for next season.
Yeah, but if he gets offered a full
do we have to release him
somewhere? Yeah, we have to release him. I believe that all two-way contracts have that provision.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, that's a little bit scary. But
So that's my fear with Gillespie, right? That's my main fear with Gillespie, is that somebody else is going to go, hey, you know what? That guy was really good. He's got that Ty Jerome tendency as a backup point guard. Let's bring him in.
So you think it's like a $5 million contract that makes it happen?
Yeah.
I hope. Well, I really hope not. I hope we can get in his ear early. But we've got Monty there, break glass if that does happen. But in a world where we do get him on that minimum that we talked about, do you still see Monte Morris being retained as a third fiddle?
Yeah, I do.
In the backup point guard spot.
I think even if Gillespie stays, I still think that we see Monte stay.
I'd like to see that
in a more prominent role. In a more prominent role with the team. Okay, and our last two ways, Jalen Bridges.
No, I think he probably continues to play in the G League. So he's back.
Two-way or just G League?
No, G League.
Ty Washington.
Same.
All right. So the big question after going through all of those, Boyd.
What's your thoughts? Do you think they're gonna?
I think both are gone.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're G League players.
Gone.
I think our two ways open up.
G League.
I don't know. Our two ways open up, and we look at something else. They're G League players.
Okay.
It's if they stay in our G League, great. If they don't, who cares? If they sign, it won't matter anyway because they're not contracted. We can't move them back and forward. I really don't care.
Okay.
So, in saying all of that, Boyd, what do we need? What do you want to see come into the Phoenix Suns over this offseason?
On a whole heap of length, I want, even if it's a green defensive, there's plenty of, I don't give a fuck if they're not the greatest shooter. I want defense. If there's anything that I can get out of a game, even if it's not a great game and it's not a win, if I see exactly what Ishbia was saying, if I see defensive hustle and effort, I at least don't fucking ground all my kids that evening. So I just want I want defensive specialists with some potential shooting that we may be able to unlock, and I think we just have to work on unlocking that other side of these players. But yeah, I reckon that we get all these guys that are energetic, that just do not let up, and we get a whole bunch of these Martin types, Caleb Martin, Ryan Dunn prototypes, all with their own issues, I suppose. We can't really ask for too much more. We can't go out there and ask for a brilliant shooter who is also good on defense, because them guys are getting fucking paid, Gav. So, but I think if we get the defensive side stitched up first, I think a big two, in what we all hope for, is enough to keep us racking up W's, and hopefully some of these defensive, lengthy, fucking diamonds in the rough take a leap, and then all of a sudden we go from a good team to a contending team if some of these pieces work out. So that's what I'm hoping for. Similar to what Toronto.
Ultimately, at the end of this offseason, you want your big two of Book and KD with a whole heap of length around them.
Whole heap of length and somewhat potential.
While I think that if Beal is traded, KD stays, what I want is KD to be traded for that length. I would rather us get some kids and some assets back. Houston is the clear answer.
Oh,
give me some Jabari Smith Jr. Give me some Tari Eason. Give me some picks back. Give me some. Oh well, look, Ahmed Thompson's never coming, but Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, some of those assets back. Give me that. Then we trade around the edges with our Grayson Allen moves. Bradley Beal gets traded. with Ryan Dunn. We bring some of that talent in. What that does is put length around the perimeter. These guys can shoot. They can defend. We get that youthful exuberance back. That excitement that we saw in that excitement we saw in 2022 with McHale and Cam Johnson and this team that was excited. Bring in some of those vets that are there to wave a fucking towel. I don't care, but just are full of energy. Give me the energy back.
Gav, what that does, if nothing else, if it just takes so much pressure off of the offense. Even if we've got 2 prongs instead of 3 prongs on that offense, or 4 or 5. Do you want to know what? Do
you want to know what else that does, Boyd?
Yeah.
It makes your penis harder. Do you want to know why?
It does. Why?
Because instead of KD being on the team, we get guys like Tari Eason and Jabari Smith on the team, which brings back the X's and O's. It brings back offensive sets. It brings back all of that. Instead of half-court fucking stagnant offense that has to run through KD, that has to run through Book, all of a sudden we bring in a young coach that can create an environment around these players. We start running offenses. We transition well on defense. We don't have those gaps. Give me that. Give me the energy. That's what I want to see.
What I forgot to mention, Gavin, what I forgot to mention, and we talked about it before the pod, is that Bobby Marks has got on the Twitter and he has literally spelled out the Houston Rockets' current deficiency in half-court offense. And basically, without saying they need KD next season, said these cunts really need KD next season. It was fucking as plain as day. So that narrative hopefully gets a lot more beef. And, you know, if we are in that multiverse where KD is not a Phoenix Sun, one of these perfect storms gets us a really good, war chest back for him. Fingers crossed.
I just want to address this from Stu. Stu, I want to roll back to what we spoke about earlier. No, I don't want to trade Dunn. Dunn's on a rookie contract. What Dunn is going to end up being is, like Kamara, a filler in a trade to get rid of Bradley Beal. That's what Ryan Dunn's going to become. That's the way I see it. I see that a team is going to go, we'll take on Beal, but we want some of your capital and we want some of your young guys. And your young guy that we want is Ryan Dunn. That's why I see Ryan Dunn being traded.
There you got 2 of them.
That's why I see Ryan Dunn getting traded, which is why I want to trade KD to Houston and get those guys with a bit of length, those young guys that have got some energy. That's the only reason why, though, Stu. Boy.
I would kill everyone in this room for a drop of sweet beer.
So, Homer, please feel free to tell us anything.
Who do you want to have a beer with, Boyd?
Who do I want to have a Boyd with?
Who do you want to have a beer with, Boyd? And what type of beer would you have with them?
Gavin, I want to have a beer with you. A real beer. So
sweet.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get to do any.
So you're not going to drink your non-alcoholic. Not going to drink your non-alcoholic beers this year.
Hey! I will go further. I want to have multiple beers with you, Gavin, and I want to pay for my own. And I'm only saying that to get you in. I'm only saying that to get you in so you can buy me beers when you finally fucking
hold on.
Get out amongst it.
I'm just booking a flight to Brisbane now.
No.
I love this. I love this. Before you go, I love this from King Nacho. We loved King Nacho jumping in, and we like to hang shit on him about his Beal obsession. But I love this. He wants to have a Foster's with Bradley Beal.
the poison pill to get him out of the franchise.
The poison pill. I love it. I love it.
Hey, isn't Nacho a lot more bearable when other people are down on Bradley Beal as well? He's just he's not an absolute pain in the ass, is he? Oh, fuck you.
All right, so who do you want to have a beer with? What type of beer?
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. Well, then it's going to be, I've done him before this season, but Oh, I'd like to do him. Maybe over a beer with Colin Gillespie, we can do it finally. Colin Gillespie, because of what we talked about earlier. What's his appetite to go out and test the market? And is he too scarred from this season with the Phoenix Suns to come back? Because I honestly think he's a starting point guard of the future. I don't think he's Steve Nash, although I have made comparisons this year. I think he is, but he has Steve Nash traits. And it's that's the medicine I need. So I want to have a beer with him and say, man, just fucking do it. Stick it out one more year, and I think there's a bigger contract down the track for you, buddy.
Well, we touched on him earlier with the Marley Hustle Award winners. I want to have a beer with anyone who had to fucking create Suns content this year with the fucking garbage that this team dished up. Absolute fucking garbage. We have gone through the pain this year. And I want to have a beer with everyone that comes into the chat and watches our shit, supports those that make fucking Suns content, because you guys have gone through the shit too. Let's all get a beer together. Fuck this.
Yeah, let's do it.
We deserve it.
Fuck that guy.
Boyd, who made you over the last couple of weeks sit back and go, you know what? Fuck that guy.
Well, it's the same one as you, Gavin. So you go, and we'll do a joint one.
No, you go first, because I think I'm going to change mine.
Oh, mine's Stephen A. Smith. For really, if he hadn't, everyone knows that he's that clickbaity and he just says shit to get a reaction. But I mean, what he said about Ishbia was the ultimate definition of clickbaity, of just idiocy. Like, come on, and the thing that he actually apologized for in that really insincere, disingenuous apology was the Clippers owner, whatever the fuck his name is comparing him to him, because he was also a fucking bigot and all that sort of shit. But mate, there's nothing that he's made some wrong moves, and he's going to make a lot more of them, as he said. But Stephen A. Smith just is like, the fuck is this? Playoffs are here, man. It's not a slow news week. Just fucking put your little fucking spud gun away and stop taking shots when you've got other shit you should be talking about. He can't have an intelligent conversation about the shit in front of him, about the basketball that's being played. So he needs to do the fucking shock jock thing. And it's really sad. So fuck you, Stephen A. Smith. You dog.
That was also mine, but because we like to mix it up here on Aussie Suns Fans, I'm going to get just to wrap this one up, which has been a fairly brutal assessment of how this season's gone. I'm going to encapsulate that and tie it all up into my fuck that guy. I'm going to say, from the coaches down to the players, down to everybody else involved in what was dished up in day-to-day games for the Phoenix Suns this year, in a season that was meant to honor one of the greatest Phoenix Suns of all time, you showed a level of disrespect to him and the fans of this organization with what you fucking dished up this year, with your finger pointing and your lack of fucking ownership and accountability. And what you've made me do is sit back and go, fuck all you guys. You go away over this offseason, you come back better. And you fucking redo it all over again to make it better, because you offended all of us this year. You broke our hearts. You failed to fucking put the effort in that is expected of people earning fucking millions of dollars to play a sport that we wish we could play at that sort of level. You know what? Most motherfuckers would play that shit for free just to be involved. And you motherfuckers are getting paid millions and millions of dollars, and what you do is point your finger at everyone else. Have a think about the impact that you have on individuals. Steve is right. This is a super fuck that guy. You guys, pull your fucking fingers out, pull your heads out of your ass, stop blaming the front office, stop blaming everyone else, because the front office pays you fuckers to go out there, put your shit out on the floor and deliver, not only for the fans, but for the people of the town, the people of Phoenix, and the people that fucking absolutely commit their time to you people on a daily basis. So I'm going to give you my fuck that guy this week, and hopefully we can wipe the slate clean now, talk about our off season, move into next year, and we wind it back to what we had in 2022, which was a team of people that actually gave a fuck.
Touching. I loved it. I loved you,
Boyd. Last comments, where do we find you?
You can find me at Buds83 on the Twitter, my personal account. You can find me on Aussie Suns Fans on the Instagrams. Or you can find me at Fucko on a mystery platform.
Has anybody found the mystery platform yet?
No, I don't think I will. It's a challenge to all three of you out there.
All three fans of Boyd, there's a challenge. Go and find Fucko on a mystery platform. Follow us at Aussie Suns Fans on Twitter, YouTube. Click like, click subscribe, all that fun stuff. Get us out there. Let us enjoy. Hey, clip that rant I just did. Put it out there. I don't give a fuck. I'll stand my ground. I'm going to stand on the mountain that I'll put myself on. Like, subscribe, do all that. Follow us on the Instagrams, because Boyd runs that shit for us. Do all that sort of shit. Now, we may not go every week, certainly over the next couple of months while it's a bit quiet. But we will, randomly jump on and speak some shit, because we like to do that, especially if we can hang shit on Luka and LeBron. There's a very good chance that we'll do podcasts to do that. But I think the most important thing is that you guys have discovered that as fans of the Phoenix Suns over here in Australia, we may be fucking miles and 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 miles away. But we love this team. We love all of you. We love all of you that come on and support us and watch us and click like and click subscribe and do all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that whenever we show up and talk Phoenix Suns basketball, on behalf of Boyd, on behalf of Nate, on behalf of myself, we never ever show up. When we show up, you know that we're not here to fuck spiders.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing